Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Choices Finding Your Joy. Paula Vail here, founder of Wellness Inspired. And I am so happy today to share with everyone Tiffany Van Heel. She is a personal development and life enhancement coach. And she has so much fantastic information to share with us today. Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so grateful.
Oh, thank you for having me on.
I love it. I've just been so excited for this interview.
I have too.
Yay. Oh, what a great way to start the new year.
I agree.
I love it. Well, I would love you to take a few minutes to share just a bit of your history and what brought you to all the amazing things that you're doing today.
Well, I would start by saying that life is certainly a winding road, and all of our experiences come together to make us who we are. And I've certainly followed that wandering road. The pivotal moment was a trip to Italy for 2.5 weeks. I'd always thought about owning my own business, starting my own business, something to the extent of empowering others and building potential. And Italy was life-changing. It was 2.5 weeks of deep sensory experience, really taking everything in through the 5 senses and really evaluating life and what I wanted it to be and what I wanted it to become. When I flew home from the trip, I knew that everything had to change. And it wasn't a question of if, it was how. And I made 3 very big changes. I left the job that I was in, I left a relationship, and moved home. And Ignite by Design was born that day.
Oh.
And it was a really amazing experience to get me to that point, and then it's only built up in the past 3 years and fine-tuned. So
Oh, I love it. And what a great name that is. That just says everything. How did you come up with that name?
It was a lot of brainstorming. I knew I wanted something around the fire within. And so Ignite had an action element to it, which was a major and is a major component of my business. It's about creating intentional action, helping people to just start. While we would love to just do it, sometimes it's as simple as just starting something, small baby steps that lead to bigger steps and make bigger ripples. Yeah. So I wanted that element to be a major part of the business name, and Ignite seemed to really fit that. The by design was something that was really important to me because I have a basis in painting and creativity. So my first degree was in painting and design. And design goes beyond the arts. To me, it's an element of creative problem solving, and there's the concept of designing your life as well. So Ignite by Design just seemed perfect. It was action with intention.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And do share with us, here we are in the new year. What are you working on for this year? What do you have going on, Tiffany?
I love that you asked that. I have a ton going on in 2019. We have a big kickoff in January with vision boarding and setting goals for all of 2019. I have a new focus that, again, has been fine-tuned to work with middle school, high school, and college-age girls specifically. And the idea is to build up their superpowers, getting them to understand what emotional intelligence is and how they can use it effectively. Understanding what their core values are and what their passions are, what can really be their compass to guide them in the right direction and help them make the best decisions for themselves. We'll actually take Wonder Woman apart, her cuffs, and break down the meaning of how they can produce their own value, identify and understand their own value, And we're actually starting with Montana State University. I have a former student actually that I worked with 2 years ago who's now involved in a sorority, and her sorority girls have volunteered to become the pilot group for the college version of the Finding Your Superpowers workshops. So we're really excited about that. And she's also even going to be interning for me. So that's one of the main focuses. And then of course, you and I are putting on a retreat towards the end of the year. So
Yes.
the idea of giving people a space to refresh and reignite and dive back into the same space that I had in Italy, where you're really being conscious of your senses, you're experiencing everything around you, and we're loading it up with some pretty amazing things between the two of us. So I'm very excited about that.
Oh, this is all just so fantastic. And I love that, that, our superpowers, we all have superpowers, we all have our own individual gifts, don't we?
We do.
Oh,
We
gosh. Yes, and I am so excited with what we have coming this year, that the project that we are doing together, Tiffany. Tell us where that's going to be. Tell everyone where that's going to be.
Okay, well, it only seemed appropriate with you being a Reiki master to do it in Sedona. It's beautiful, it's calming. It just seemed like the perfect place to start. So we're looking at September in Sedona. We're looking at approximately 5 days currently, where you will provide the opportunity for people to be certified in Reiki. And we'll do some hikes to the vortex. We will have a yoga instructor who's another fantastic friend of mine. She will open the day with yoga and she'll close the day with yoga. We'll have 3 hours of dedicated personal development, very interactive, very hands-on. It's about, again, just starting. And sometimes it's about putting the mask on ourselves before we assist others. And we need to be reminded to take care of ourselves. So a lot of this will be focused on how to do that, to find that space in our lives for that. And we also have massages on tap. So another friend will be coming down to do massages. And there will be networking, coffee networking, champagne socials, the idea of creating a community around this retreat as well. So it
Wow.
should be fun.
Tiffany, you are a master of creativity. What an event this is going to be. I'm so excited.
Well, it's all about fun, Paula.
Oh, it is. Have fun and
Mm-hmm.
create so much. Well, tell everyone for a moment, share how they can get more information on what you do with personal development and your events and our Sedona event. How can
Perfect.
they get more information on that?
We have our Facebook pages and our Instagram pages, Ignite by Design, and I know you have Wellness Inspired. We have websites for both. And specifically for the retreat, we created a page, and it is reignitebydesign.com, and it's re-ignitebydesign.com. So if they are interested in finding out more information, those are the major portals. So, and they can follow along as we'll release information. There's a lot more to come, and there's a lot more bits and pieces of this puzzle that we can actually share, and it'll make the entire length of time up to Sedona really exciting, because there'll be things popping up all over the place. So
Yes. And there's going to be so many things happening during that retreat, that's, from the yoga and the massage and the speaking. So give us an example, Tiffany, of, you're such an amazing speaker, some of the topics that you enjoy speaking about.
Emotional intelligence is always one. And a big part of emotional intelligence is being aware of yourself. So understanding where we are in our lives and the direction we want to go. So that would be a component. Back to this idea of giving yourself a space to just to be present in the moment. Being in Sedona, in the environment we're going to be immersed in, it's going to be really fantastic to be able to take a sensory inventory of what you're actually what's entering into your body, the feelings of joy, the feelings of peacefulness. We're hoping that you get this really fantastic rejuvenation. And at the same time, that when you're going to enjoy a meal, that you're savoring each bite and you're remembering each taste. And maybe when you're out on the hike, maybe it's grabbing a handful of sand and really feeling the dirt. The idea is to really be present. And those are things that I love to talk about. And especially, like I said, this Italy trip, it changed the way that I travel. It changed the way that I experience life. And I hope to be able to share that in conversations with these wonderful women who join us, so that they can find that same sense of self and that same sense of space.
Yes, yes. And Sedona, of course, is my favorite place on the planet. And for those who have not been there and are going to join us, oh my gosh, the energy, it's amazing. It's just life-changing. I would love to ask you, because I also love Italy, and loved experienced Italy when I was 15 years old. What particular things did you do or feel in Italy that really started you thinking, I want to change a little bit or create something? Is there a certain thing that kind of triggered that, Tiffany?
That's a great question. I would say where I was at in my life, I was just really not happy. And when I got to Italy, I had already been to a few doctors actually in the days before, who basically told me I needed to de-stress. I needed to not handle everything in my life. I wasn't responsible for all of this. And I needed to find a way to decompress. And they were very excited to hear that I was going to get away for 2.5 weeks. One of the individuals that spoke to me before I left was actually a Reiki master. And she said my walls were up so high she couldn't get into me. And so she asked me to take stock of my experience over there and notice my body and notice the way that things would unfold, and really listen to the words that were coming through my mind and be conscious of them. So I actually took a journal over. I took a box of colored pencils. I hadn't drawn in a long time, and I was an art major. So this was really healing for me. I wrote down the words that came through my mind. I wrote down the thoughts that I had in bullet points. I would sit and draw this beautiful architecture. And I would tell you that about 4 days in to the Italy trip, I felt like all of those layers of my armor had finally fallen off.
Oh.
And so that moment of recognition that I was finally back to my soul and finally back to being, having a healthy mindset, I would say that was a pivotal moment. And I remember looking in the mirror and realizing that I'd found myself.
Yes.
And I wondered where I'd been. And I remember getting tearful because it was such a moving moment. Throughout the rest of the trip, I was really coming into the fact that I wasn't going to let this go away. And then I started to revel in that sensory experience that I mentioned. I could go deeper where I hadn't been able to in the first 4 days. And so it meant tasting the foods and enjoying the sunsets. We spent a majority of the time in Florence, which to me, it was just an artsy, beautiful, there's something in the air there. It was phenomenal. And one of the other major takeaways was a couple of my classmates had decided that this trip they were going to choose happy, and that was going to be their compass. And there's a great story that goes along with that, which I could tell you about if you're interested.
Yes, tell us.
Okay. They were from LA. They'd flown in the night before the rest of our class. So I got my master's degree at Gonzaga University in organizational leadership. And this is one of the opportunities that they provide, is this trip to study the Renaissance arts and the Renaissance leaders and understand how it influences our leadership potential today, which it's just a beautiful concept. It's a beautiful class. And my professors, Dr. Carey and Dr. Caputo, were phenomenal at creating this experience. So my hat's off to Gonzaga. So we were over for this trip. The two individuals, Becky and Paul, got in early and they decided to choose happy. So they made decisions to get up at a concert that wasn't necessarily what they wanted to partake in because they were choosing happy. They decided to go get gelato. When they got to the gelato store, it was closed. So they decided they would head back to the hotel, and instead they noticed that there was a rooftop bar and it was right around sunset, and so they decided to choose happy. They ended up on top of this rooftop bar with a beautiful view of the Vatican, just a block or two away. The sun was setting. They ordered Aperol spritzes and just soaked it in for the moment that it was. And when the moment had come and gone and the awe had subsided a bit, they decided that they would head back to the hotel. And as they were wandering back, they noticed that there was a red rope and a big long line of people trying to get into a building. So they're like, well, let's choose happy. So they decided to go stand in line. And when they got to the front, the gentleman asked if they were on the list. Well, of course, they weren't on the list, but he recognized that they had American accents. And he said, where are you guys from? And they said, LA. So he's like, come with me. So he took them into the back, and it was the cast party for Zoolander 2. And they stayed there all night long and hung out with the cast. So when they got back to the hotel in the morning, jet lag and all, it became a theme of the week to choose happy. And it spread through all of us. And it was a major takeaway. If you live your life by choosing happy, things get pretty simple. It's just a matter of how.
Yes. Yes. I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm putting that out there. That's our theme for 2019.
Choose happy.
Happy. Yes. I love it. What a great story. And
I loved that story.
You know, it's so true, Tiffany. We can get so caught up in life, so caught up with what's going on, that we forget to do the little things that bring us joy, like your artwork. You're an amazing artist, and you get so busy you don't have time to sit and create something. And we all have those little happiness triggers that we don't give ourselves time to do. Would you say?
So true.
Yeah.
And it's about carving out time and being intentional, making sure we create a space to actually paint or draw or go to the gym or spend quality time with our kids reading books. It's about making that space and making that choice.
Yes, yes. And I believe when we make the choice to take the time to think of ourselves and give ourselves our own happiness triggers and our own self-love, that helps the others around us as well. You know, yes. That flows into what we're doing for others. But if we're so focused on what we have to get done for everyone around us and neglect ourselves, that does make a difference on what we give others as well. Wouldn't you say?
It's a huge point. It's a huge point. We have to take care of ourselves before we're any good to those around us. And it goes back to the stewardess on the plane saying, make sure that you put the oxygen mask on yourself before assisting others. We're no good if we can't function. And so it's about that self-care, that work-life, I would say harmony versus balance or integration, which is another component of the retreats that we'll be touching on too. It's about how to find that work-life integration. And in order to be able to create these spaces that we're talking about and finding our true happiness.
I would guess, Tiffany, that being a life enhancement coach is very fulfilling for you as well.
It is.
You know, with helping others enhance their life and their happiness. That would you say at this time in your life that you've found your passion?
I have. And as I mentioned, it's been a long, winding road. But I think that every experience I've had has brought me to this point to where I feel like the time is right. I wouldn't have been ready for this a while ago. And so I've been very fortunate to be able to find that now. And the people that I've come across, and most of them have become very good friends, and to be able to see them make advancements in positive directions has been really fulfilling.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. And this year, Tiffany, that's just going to expand. That is so exciting. The Tiffany energy is out there, and it just, that wave is going to turn into an ocean, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it.
Well, I'm so happy to partner with you. This has been really exciting to build with you, and you've always been one of my favorite people. So this is going to be really fun for us as well as everyone else.
Yes, yes. I'm so happy that we've known each other so many years, and I'm so excited to be part of your great event in Sedona. Oh my gosh. And I do want to say to any of the audience, if you want to email me at Paula@wellnessinspired to ask questions about the Sedona event, feel free to do that, or contact Tiffany. It's going to be an absolutely life-changing and heart-fulfilling week. It really is. It really is going to be. How many days will the event be? And will they have an option of how many days they want to come?
That's a really good question too. So the way that we've broken it out, we're looking at 5 to 6 days. I think it's 5, not counting travel. And there will be 2 mornings of the Reiki certification with you. And then the following days are the personal development days, 3 days of that. So people can come for the 2 days if they just want to do the certification. They can just come for the personal development portion, or they can stay for all 5 days. It doesn't mean that you have to do one or the other. If you want to take the balance of the days just to vacation and relax, that's suggested too. So really give yourself the full 7 days just to decompress and get away. And there's going to be lots of opportunities for you to have really true quality time for what you're interested in doing. Our afternoons are meant to be open. You can meet people around town at different coffee shops to have coffee chats and talk about anything under the sun. If there's topics of interest, then that would be a great opportunity. If you want to take the afternoon and go lay by the pool, you can do that too. Paula is going to take us to a couple hikes to the different vortexes. So there are lots of options, but the whole point is that you get to choose happy. Choose what will infuse you with the most life-giving energy. And that's really a big part of the value, I believe, is that quality time.
Yeah. And here, as we are entering a new year, we can make that choice to choose happy, make that choice to enhance our lives, and it's just going to manifest. And things may come into our lives, opportunities, people we're going to meet, the connections we'll make. It's actually very excited. I'm very excited for 2019, Tiffany. Are you?
I am too. I think it's going to be a great year to kick off a lot of the things that we're doing. And it's always a good time for renewal and setting intentions, which I do, versus resolutions. I feel like resolutions are made to be broken. Intentions are with energy and action behind it. So January is just a great time to reset and reconfigure for the year, and it's 2019 setting up to be a fantastic year.
Yes, yes. And I'm with you. I love intentions, and I love to just put that out there, and just, it is done. I just see it. I see it happening, and I see it fulfilled. And then with that energy, oh my gosh, what can manifest for us? It's so exciting.
Well, we've talked about creating a little bit of a retreat in a box concept. So that's something that your audience might be interested in too on the Ignite by Design website. And the idea is to create your, it'll be a step-by-step on how to create your vision boards for the year, an idea of how to manifest your intentions, how to set up your time management, and understand if things are really urgent or if they're important. There's a couple other tips and tricks that'll be in that little retreat in a box as well. So for those of you who are setting up for the rest of the year and are looking for some avenues to do so, that will be made available for you as well.
Oh, that sounds so fantastic. Please share with everyone your website one more time,
Yes.
how they can get involved in that.
Okay, so the Ignite by Design website is where you can find the future retreat in a box and also information on all of my services. The other website is the reignitebydesign.com. And again, that's re-ignitebydesign.com. And that's specifically for our retreat. One note on that as well that would be nice to mention is when you land on the site, the Reignite by Design, we'd love to have you fill out the inquiry form. And the inquiry form will let you know and keep you abreast of all of the updates for the upcoming retreat, as well as give you the opportunity to click boxes and determine some avenues that you would like to see either at Sedona specifically, which this is primarily geared towards, or we've also talked about doing some retreats that are truly experiential journeys, whether it's going to wine country or whether it's coming up to Montana here where I'm at and enjoying a winter retreat with snowshoeing and skis and the hot springs. We'd like to hear what you have to say. And there's a notes area too where I would love to have any feedback provided so that we can try and build these events out. The idea is to do things that are fun, that allow you the opportunity to enjoy some quality time and maybe do some things that are different and out of your norm. But the whole point is to have fun and get away and reignite.
Oh, so fantastic. And just so many things on your website, Tiffany, that people can look at and step into and enhance their lives. I am just so grateful for everything you do.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Likewise, Paula.
thank you. Thank you. You know, when we work as a team and being a positive energy in the world, oh my gosh, the things that open up.
So true. It's the law of attraction.
Yes, yes. Oh, yay. Okay. Well, everyone, I'm afraid we're going to have to say goodbye. And this is our Choose Happy Year. A big thank you, love, hugs, and blessings, everybody. Tiffany, love, hugs, and blessings. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paula.
Bye.
Bye.